Welcome, everybody, to another Owatonna Wrestling Weekly podcast. I'm head coach Derek Johnson, accompanied as always by middle school coach and Minden USA director, Coach Gabe Hubden. And yeah, what are we? Episode 3, we said, season 4.
Season 4, episode 3.
Feel free to binge watch / listen to your favorite wrestling podcast. And yeah, this week is brought to you by Coles Electric. Thank you so much for supporting the Owatonna wrestling community for the past, 25, 30 years probably.
At least 20. I know that for sure.
Right, yeah.
At least 20.
We appreciate that. And please send everyone you can if you have any needs for any type of electrical work to Coles Electric. So thank you there. We had a big week. We're now in that multi-event type of schedules for the season, and we had a big one last week. High school, we started at Northfield with Rochester Century was there as well. Started off with Century, took care of business, got some people in the lineup. Got a chance to kind of showcase those guys. One of them's in the room right now. You can't see me off camera. Trevor Townley went against an absolute Hulk, and Trevor did really well against that kid, so that was great. But against Century, 53-13, took care of business. Ozzy had a big come-from-behind win against a kid a foot taller than him. Number 2 ranked, Caden Lindquist, tech fall. Jacob Wilson racked it up with a tech fall. Gabe Robb against, so he's 8th grade, and against Duwangi, who is 4-year starter for Century, senior captain. Robb battled back and ended up pinning him.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
So that was huge. Jaden Jurley won by pin, as did Colton Glendy, and both of those guys were going against some seasoned veterans from Century. And then we got Ryan Feltsy in at 189, and he got a pin. He looked really good there. And then, we finished. They forfeited heavyweight, so we finished with number 8 ranked Blake Fitcher getting a pin at 215.
Okay.
And then number 7 Northfield. That one was tough. That was they have our number in regular season again.
Yeah.
That's frustrating. We ended up losing that one 27-36. Came down to heavyweight. What else is new? It's the last 4 duels we've had against them are all one match differences, but. The big wins were delivered by 107 Miles Ozzy, had a big win, major decision. Lindquist won by pin, which was great. Lane Karsten racked up a tech fall on Charlie Johnson. Lane's number 10 right now in the state of Minnesota. Krieger against Aya Schweik, who Schweik's given us problems in the past. He's just a kind of a strong kid that they plug in at different places. And Krieger got a big pin on him. And then Blake Fitcher against Blake Woods for them got a big win or got a pin, which brought us within striking distance. And then Flemke had ranked Ryan Kuiper, and that's just a match right now that Flemke's still struggling with because Kuiper knows if he throws a hard crossface, it's going to make Flemke bleed, and that gives Ryan Kuiper a chance to breathe. Yeah. So that happens every time, literally every time. So. Walked away from that one with some good things, some silver linings, some people really stepping up, but nonetheless had kind of an intense practice for a Friday in between a Thursday-Saturday meet, just to kind of work out some kinks and talk about kind of reassessing the mindset when we wrestle. And it must have paid dividends because then Saturday, all the boys were at Prior Lake with some really tough teams there. So Prior Lake's in the lean and mean, Scott West is in the lean and mean, Waconia is ranked number 8. Farmington was there, and we didn't have Farmington again. We only wrestled them a week ago Saturday. So started off with number 8, Waconia. That one came down to heavyweight. We ended up, came down to kind of like 215.
Okay.
Both ranked kids. Fitcher lost a close one. Ended up giving away the pin in the end, but at the same time it was like last second to a ranked kid. But Ozzy won by pin. That was huge. They thought they were going to bump up their 14 to go against Lindquist, and Ozzy, still delivered. So that was great to see. Lindquist won by tech fall. Gabe Robb had a big come-from-behind 8-7 win, which was great.
So they took their 6-pounder to wrestle 14, expecting
to kind of hang with them.
Okay.
And they lost that bet.
That.
So, starting off, starting off 11-0 was not on their bingo card.
Okay.
So that was good. And then, we fought through some adversity. So all day we were basically down 2 weights, kind of giving up 12 team points. We were just thin in certain areas. And so that was the other part, was down 2 people or down 2 weights where we're flat out giving up a forfeit at 139 and then some rotational guys at 189. And still were really tough that time. So High getting a pin. Glendy got absolutely slammed. The kid left his feet on a double leg finish. Got the illegal point and everything. And a lesser kid probably would have just stayed down and took the DQ. Instead, he got up, finished the match, and toughed it out and everything. So,
but he's fine. No injuries or little
sore.
Just
sore so far. So we'll see. And then Krieger stepped up, got a pin in that one. And then Flemke to kind of get us back in striking distance got a pin at heavyweight, but lost some really, really close ones where Karsten had a ranked kid, lost in triple overtime. And there was some question, like he had a takedown pretty well secured at one point that they just kind of let go. A little bit it didn't fall to us, but at the same time we battled really hard. Then the next round, Scott West absolutely cleaned our clocks last season, destroyed us. And they were pretty stacked last year and graduated a couple of seniors, but we ended up winning that one 38-31. Lindquist had a tech in that one. Gabe Robb won by pin against a junior. Still just surprising. Karsten took care of business with a pin, Hyatt with a pin, Krieger with a pin, and Flemke by a pin in order to seal. It had to be a win either way at heavyweight to seal it. But the story of that duel actually was, so Glendy just gets slammed the match before, struggling. He's just a freshman at 152. Goes against ranked Mason Bregerman, so I think he was ranked like 5th. Kept it to an 8-5 match. Lost 8-5. Not even a major. With this new scoring, it's crazy to keep it to a decision. Yeah. So he kept us in it. Flatland had a stud. He kept us in it. And then, so those were 2 matches in a row. And then Krieger getting a pin on a pretty tough kid. Suddenly it was like, oh, okay.
We're in this.
Yeah. So we talked about team points to death on Friday. And then on Saturday, we're coming through with a lot of guys just stepping up and being just crazy tough. So that was great. And then we ended the day with another Lean and Mean team, Prior Lake, who were all down at like their end of season weights. Like they were ready to go. We haven't dropped yet. We haven't gotten into our tournament shape yet. So we lost that one 30-37. But big matches. Karsten had a tech. Caden Lindquist went against, I think Collins is number 2 in the state, 2 or 3 at 114.
Okay.
And Caden's still up at 114, even though he's number 2 ranked at 7. And he did the same thing from last year. Collins is really strong, a huge 114. And that was just kind of the difference because then in the third period, Caden gassed him. Like absolutely got stall calls out of him, got takedowns. Like it was the exact same thing that happened last season. So that was cool to see. Caden never backs down anyway, but... and then, Carter Flatland winning by major decision, kind of a come from behind there. We got Feltz back in at 189. He got the pin. And then Fitcher with the pin as well. At that point, we didn't have Flemke. Flemke had gotten injured in his Scott West match. And poor Caden Keller gets trotted out against Brock Zern, number 4 in the state at heavyweight. So it was just a really good day from that standpoint. Our JV took care of business. They won all of their duels in that gym. I think technically they lost to Century, but that's it so far this year. I think otherwise we're undefeated as a JV.
Yeah, we lost by 1 point to Century.
Yeah, 1 point to Century.
Okay.
And then,
it sounds like the varsity is all within one match of everybody.
Everybody.
All
these ranked teams.
One turn, or one person catches somebody, or just wins that overtime match.
Right.
Or the triple overtime match. It could swing a lot of
and
momentum.
We said this last season too, where it was like, oh my gosh, like if we would have wrestled, it was always like the days after wrestling Northfield in the regular season, we'll wrestle Casson extremely tough, out of our minds. And it's like, oh, if we would have been more, aggressive back in Northfield. So kudos to Northfield. They were ready. We just kind of weren't. It's earlier in the season than we're used to for those guys, but man, they were aggressive. They weren't the Northfield of the past where they were just stronger.
Yeah.
They legitimately had the pace that we usually have, and so they kind of beat us at our own game that way. And then not far away on the other side of the metro, the girls varsity was at the Hopkins Athena Invite, which is the largest regular season girls tournament in the state. And we opted, Coach Yule and I talked a little bit about this. They had 3 levels of brackets, meaning like varsity A bracket, the very seasoned vets, B, where they're experienced, but just kind of coming along, and then C, where they're just absolutely raw and new. And just for scoring purposes, Coach Yule decided, hey, let's put them all in A. Let's put them all in the highest one. Might as well see where they're at. And we took 12th out of 50-plus teams in the tournament scoring, due to a large part to our 2 placers. Kayla Pastica, a little freshman, undersized 100-pounder, took second. She made the finals. She went 2-1, so that was huge for us. And then the other big-time scorer was Captain Isabelle Townley.
Okay.
She went 4-2, I believe.
Yeah.
4-2. Yep.
3-2. Yeah. No. Yeah.
I think 4-2. I think that's what Matt Boss says is 4-2, and lost to the same girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the same girl twice. Okay.
And only so she took 4th to 2 number 1s in the state and the number 2 in the state, something like that. Yeah, 3 incredibly highly ranked
so
girls.
she knows where she's at now.
Exactly. And then Lucinda, she definitely probably wasn't too excited about it, but we bumped her up to 112 to score, and she got a win. She went 1-2 and everything, and then and then our other girls are a little bit more raw, a little newer, Harmony and Michaela. So about to be expected, but I think all in all, I've only heard good things coming out of that tournament, and it really, really reassessed where they're at.
54 teams. That's a big tournament.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
That's a big tournament.
And granted, a lot probably only had like 1 or 2.
Yeah,
or
1 or 2
like
or
that,
3 or 4, but still there's 54
Right.
There
teams.
are like 450 plus girls there.
450 plus. It was just gigantic deal. So that was great to see, and a great measuring stick. They have next week. Well, this week is a cool tournament we'll talk about, but then next week already is the big Christmas tournament for girls as well.
Okay.
So up at Champlin. And speaking of, so for high school this week, all the boys are heading to Glencoe Silver Lake on Thursday. We're going to have just a really good try with Glencoe and Mound West Tonka, and there's a couple of teams there that are JV only, so everyone's going to get good matches. And then Friday, we're hosting the Owatonna Girls Classic, and so that's going to be at the high school. That's in both gyms. And we have 60-plus entrants right now out of like 14 teams. And so, this is our first time really giving this a go. And we hope to make it kind of a bigger thing that people just kind of expect around, the boys' Christmas tournament time, basically. And, so that's Friday night if you want to come out and support and see some good girls wrestling. And then Saturday, the boys' JV heads to Anoka's JV annual championships, which is the toughest teams in the state. Their JVs all go to that. Took 5th last year, and that was with, I think, 2 open weights. This is the first year we filled out our entire JV roster in a while. Okay. So that'll be cool to see. And
we're hoping they come home a lot higher than 5th then.
I think so. Okay. And I think they have a really good shot at that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and then
and
then we're on a break. So and then middle school. You also had a busy week.
Oh yeah, on Thursday when the varsity's at Northfield, which we would like to come and watch the varsity wrestle and JV wrestle, but we were at our own little match up at Prior Lake. We were down 9 kids because they had to go to their choir concert, which school's first.
Yep.
So we really don't keep a score, but us coaches keep a tally in our head. But with our 9 wrestlers down, or being down 9 wrestlers, it was a little tough. But Mikey Nichols was down 3rd period, 4-6, came back for a pin, which is great for him. Brady Larson, same thing, down 10-11, comes back, gets a pin. Xander Feltz left the night with 2 pins.
Oh, wow.
And then also Caleb Fulton with 2 wins. them are some of the. I mean, it's Thursday night was there was a lot of other good wrestling, but them are some of the highlights that I want to poke out of different kids and rather than the same ones that do very well. Then Saturday we go to Ellsworth duels. Okay. Last year the last couple of years we've been stuck in the old gym because we lose one match.
Oh, okay.
This year we went to the big gym. We ended up in second place. First meet we wrestled Ellsworth. We were seated. I want to say we were seated fourth. So we're third or fourth in the tournament. So first round we wrestled Ellsworth. We beat them 50-41. It basically came down to heavyweight.
Okay.
Right in there, we were kind of. I mean, it wasn't. If we didn't want to forfeit because we would have lost.
Sure.
And we had Pierce out there, and but to start us off, Bentley Wenzel came out of nowhere. One of our newer wrestlers came out of nowhere and got a takedown pin right away. Double leg takedown to a half Nelson and pinned the kid, and the whole bench just. I mean, right away at I think we're sitting at maybe 105 pounds, 100 pounds. He might weigh that wet.
Sure.
So we have a lot of kids that we have to bump up to fill weights in.
Sure.
So he got that big pin there, and then Jamison Gilman down 3-0, gets a reversal, pins the kid, puts a half on and pins him. Just got to sit out and just pinned him, and then Pierce came out with the big pin at the end in 9 seconds.
Pierce Laux.
Yeah, Pierce Laux.
Yep.
So we ended up beating Ellsworth 50-41, and we were kind of a little worried about our next match because it's been a long time since I remember beating St. Michael Albertville.
Okay.
So we beat them 48-45.
Nice.
So it came down Easton Bushel in overtime. If he would hit that double leg throughout the whole match, and I know it's hard to say, if he would have done this at the beginning, but it was such a beautiful double leg he hit, and everybody was so excited, and he was so excited, he took him straight to his back. He could have went for a pin, but he was just looking for that takedown for that win because it was a battle. I think the match was 3-3, so it was a close match, and both wrestlers, Easton and the other kid, went the whole time. It was a battle. He got the win in overtime, and then coming down to the 189, Eli Buckley.
Yeah.
The match was 12-12 going into the third period. We needed Eli to win, and then we were, because we got a forfeit at heavyweight. We needed that win. Nope, Eli wanted to do better than that. Took him down, ended up throwing a half on and pinning the kid, and that's his second win of the season.
Jeez.
So great win for Eli Buckley. And then Olin Flatland, I got more on him coming up, but we bump him up in weights. He got a pin there against St. Michael, which was a huge pin for us during that match. And then third round, we ended up in the finals against Zambroda Mazeppa.
Ooh, okay.
And a little shout out to my old college wrestling buddy, Tony Brown, one of the coaches. He got me a little buffaloed at the beginning. He came up and goes, "Oh yeah, we just got to weather your guys' storm." And wow, that team, they're good. They are good. Our guys held strong. I mean, we battled through it. Mason Sorensen won 10-3. Sean McCulley, he won by fall. First year wrestler, got a fall. But the match, it was 23-69. We lost. So, but everybody did their parts. Nobody gave up the pin. Everybody fought through the whole match. There was nobody just going, "Oh, okay, he's got me. This is a tight headlock, or this cradle is a tight cradle. I'm just going to stop kicking." Nope, nobody did.
Nice.
So everybody contributes to us, and that's what we're talking about too. Is these team points when we're lined up and actually have weights, it's a team score. We gotta keep the matches close. So Elijah Klein, we have him bumped up. So he's been ran through the ringers. He's up at 105, and I think he weighs maybe around 95.
Oh, okay.
So we're bumping him up, 95 to 100. We're bumping him up. So the kids are bigger than him. Cole Calhoun, he's also one. him and Owen kind of flip-flop back and forth to see who's going up. And, I mean, these guys go out there and they fight. So
Yeah.
even though they're giving up weight. But, yeah, it was a very good weekend to take second at that tournament. It was finally.
huge.
And then we got our cheese curds, and out the door we went. Because it's the Cheese Curd Classic over in Ellsworth. So.
Right.
So, but this week we are at home on Thursday.
Yep.
Up at the middle school. I think wrestling starts at 4:30. I know I got to be there by 3.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so I'm guessing
Sounds about right for middle school, yeah.
About 4:30 on Thursday at the middle school, and then on Saturday we have the Stockwell duels here at the high school. So
Stockwell Open now. It's no longer duels.
Okay, Stockwell
It's an
Open.
individual.
Okay,
Yep.
the Stockwell Open this weekend.
Yep.
And so I want to say, I think what is there, 8?
What's
How many teams are at this
Usually
this
about
year?
13, 14.
Yep. So yeah, it's going to be a good day if you guys have nothing else to do. Come up and watch our middle school wrestle.
Yep, it's all in the Fed gym, 4 mats. It's very smoothly ran
Yeah.
by the OWA, and it's just a great time in general. So,
Yep. And then that's our middle school for this week.
yeah, awesome. And then I'll kind of review the youth a little bit, but
Yeah.
first you brought up Eli Buckley, and that
Yeah.
made me remember Finn Buckley. So his older brother, freshman Finn. Any of you who know him know he's a sweet soul, but also incredibly sarcastic and everything. He did about the nicest thing possible, though, on Saturday, which was Prior Lake had a kid, a wrestler / kind of manager who's on the spectrum, and Finn. I had 2 referees come up to me and talk about this. They were so excited for what Finn did for him. It was one of those things that you see on YouTube where Finn went out, simulated a real match, acted like it was a real match, let the kid win, and the whole place went nuts. The kid went nuts. All the Prior Lake families. It was just a great look for Finn and his parents. Eric and Larissa. Just you've raised a good kid, but also just that's what we're about culture-wise, and so. Just a cool moment and something that people don't forget, and surely that kid's not going to forget. He was just going crazy. So thank you, Finn. Thank you for what you do, and I'm glad to hear that. When a ref comes up to you after a tournament and goes, "I got to tell you something about one of your kids," and you're like, "Oh God, what happened?" And it was that, and the ref gets a little choked up. It's like, "Oh my God, that's awesome." So, so. Last Friday, our youth got to ride the bus just like the high school, and they went up to Farmington to have one of their Friday night rumbles with your brother, Coach Jake Hovden up there, and I heard that was just an absolute crazy success, and the kids went nuts.
Yep, I heard it was a very good time.
Yeah.
Very good time.
Yeah, so that we want to keep that going. More and more communities see what we do with those Friday night rumbles, which are more about just experience, getting some of the jitters out, but also we accommodate really high-end matches there too, because we do want it to be all one unit, all one team like that, and nonetheless it operates more if you've ever heard of how middle school or a lot of JV meets now, where it's just, hey, we're trying to get this kid 2 great matches, good even matchups. We don't want it incredibly lopsided or anything. It's all just about the progress, and other programs have taken note and requested. We now pair with TCU. We pair with Medford. We've had Waseca reach out. I think
we might be having something with them coming up.
Yeah, and I think eventually I could see us with some of the Rochester schools. We're already trying to include them with their middle school type of stuff, because it's been in kind of disarray there, district-wise. And then this Sunday. So we have 4 straight days of hosting wrestling in Owatonna. Thursday, middle school. Friday, Owatonna Girls Classic. Saturday, the Stockwell tournament, the middle school tournament. And then Sunday, the Min USA regional qualifier. We have the mats are going to stay down, and we're going to have all the high schoolers help out those days, and just a great overall weekend for Owatonna wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we'll be right back with one of our 2 guests. And, we're going to ask some really weird questions.
I hope they're ready.
All right. Welcome back to Owatonna Wrestling Weekly Podcast. We're sitting here with Captain Blake Fitcher, number 8 ranked at heavyweight, even though he's a svelte 215, and probably going to be that for most of the year, and we'll make that decision when the time comes, around individual time. How are you, sir?
I'm awesome. How about yourself?
It's just so good. It's almost like I haven't seen you in like 15 minutes. So
Exactly.
yeah, how about a little, this season thus far, you've had a little bit of a test here and there. Unfortunately, sustained your first loss this weekend against a ranked Waconia kid, but you've always struck me the type that kind of welcomes the challenge. And was it a good measuring stick for you?
Yeah, he was ranked 4th. I didn't really get in my head about it like I have in the past. You know me, I've always had to get jacked up before a match, but I was kind of just going out there in my head. I already knew that I could hang with the kid. I knew the outcome was kind of up in the air. I had belief in myself, but he's really good. He places high at state and stuff like that, so that's a tough match to even start. To lose, that's okay. You can't win all of them.
Right.
But it's something to learn about and stuff like that. And I learned a lot from that match. I could do better on finishing. I could work better on my scrambling and stuff like that. So it was really a learning opportunity, and I took it with a grain of salt. I didn't get all pouty on myself. I didn't let it ruin my day because it was the first match of the day. So I could have let that ruin my day and went 0-3 the rest of the day. It's not like I had any easy matches really after that.
Right.
Those kids were pretty tough. So, yeah, like I said, didn't let it ruin my day. And I kind of learned from it, and I went out the next match and performed even better.
Yeah, you did. And I was expecting, I was half expecting, I guess. Thought Scott West was going to bump Dylan Thomas to you from 89. They're a highly ranked guy there.
Yep.
But you must have scared him off. I don't know.
Probably.
Stop flexing on the sidelines.
Yeah.
So what, okay, we've had some tough teams we've gone against so far this season. We kind of front-loaded it and really wanted to test ourselves. How about for you personally? What's kind of been one or two of your highlights so far in the season?
Definitely Scott West on Saturday. That was I kind of surprised myself there because I remember telling you right after that duel, right before I wrestled Prior Lake, that kid beat me 9-1 last year.
Yeah.
And to kind of come back the next year and beat him in overtime was 10-7. I felt like I kind of proved myself wrong almost. I didn't remember wrestling that kid until I watched the Matt Boss from last year.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either, that it was the same kid.
Yeah, and I rewatched the match from last year. He absolutely toyed with me the whole time. So to come back and I feel like I also controlled the match most of the time. I kept giving him so many easy points on stupid things. So I was proud of myself there. I'd say another one is probably Northfield too. I feel like they bumped away from me almost, or like kind of.
They definitely did.
Yeah, they didn't want to see that matchup so early, and I was like, why? Let's go at it. What are you so scared of? Let's just do it now, and we can do it again at sections when it really, really matters. So
Right.
I was kind of boosting my ego a little bit that night to I felt like they bumped away from me, but maybe that's not true, but it's true.
Yep.
And what was our first meet again? Woodbury. Woodbury, I feel like I wrestled very well too. That Simley kid.
Yeah, that Simley kid was solid for sure.
He was jacked. He's a big dude. And I feel like I really controlled him, made him cry a little bit on the mat. That really made my day. Hearing him say "I can't" while crying, that was awesome. I'm like, dude, you're a grown man. I don't know why you're crying on the mat right now. Just take a loss with some dignity and learn from it. But those are some of my highlights from each of the duels. And sitting at 7-1, I'm pretty proud of myself so far.
Keep that going.
And getting more and more aggressive every match, it seems like.
I'm getting more comfortable, I feel like.
Yeah. It you can tell, you were solid that first weekend, but really you got your points off of them trying stupid throws on you and you just being solid versus you created offense this past, Thursday, Saturday. So that was great to see. So you just came off kind of a crazy football season. And how do you think that prepared you, or did that help, hurt? What kind of thing? That was a big emotional, but also physical roller coaster. Where, you walked in pretty hurting.
Yeah, I came in pretty banged up because I played at the bank on Saturday and came into practice on Monday.
Yeah.
So I really never really got the break. I'm not going to be a baby about it. It happened. That's how life goes. I got the opportunity to go far into a football season, so that's what's going to happen. It also kind of hurt me a little bit, too, to not be able to get into, like, a captain's practice or something, get mat time before the season started. I hopped right into it. but also I felt like my conditioning was at a really next level than everybody when I first walked into the room.
Yeah.
Because I've been playing football for so long that I had accustomed my lungs to be able to take more of a load, and I feel like I came in with a higher conditioning than I usually do.
Well, and you were doing two-way, right?
Yeah.
By the end?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, that had to help, too. It wasn't just
Hands down.
flying all over the field as a linebacker.
No.
You were staying out there.
Yeah, getting touchdowns.
Right?
That was
Right.
fun.
So what would you say are your goals for this season then, individually?
Individually, repeat section champ. If Kuiper wants to come get some, he can. If he wants to bump up, go ahead too. But I think that's where I'll end up being at the end of the season is 215 because now Flemke's he's gonna be out for a little bit, so he's not gonna be able to cut that much. And he's already a big dude, so he's been struggling recently. So
He's a smiley 245 right now.
yep,
So, yeah.
he's very very happy,
Loves
fat
his
and happy.
food. Yeah.
Kind of getting to the 31 club again. You know,
Yeah,
getting
for
that
sure.
plaque at the end of the season is always it kind of boosts your ego, like I was talking about earlier. It's nice to get. You know, not very few kids on the team can get that plaque, and it's pretty cool to have yourself. It's probably not like the coolest plaque that you can get. You know, being all conference or something, or being all state could be even better. But being able to have like a 30-win plaque or MVP, that's just one of those little things that it's really cool to have a part of yourself and things.
And I'm going to look up real quick. I'm pretty sure you are knocking on the door of 100.
Gotta be.
Yeah. So right now you're 84. So I mean, you just stay healthy and keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to hit that 100. So
Yeah, knock on wood for the healthy.
Yeah,
Or
right.
Getting hurt. So
yep.
I've always been able to stay healthy. Like I said, knock on wood for many of my sports. I've never really seemed to be banged up and sit out for multiple weeks. So if I get to that 100, that'll be an awesome blessing to have, and I'll be very proud of myself for something like that. Put the work in over the 4 years.
For sure.
I started from freshman year now, so I had to make it happen in those 4 years. It's not like I came here in 7th grade on varsity.
Right.
And even if my freshman year I went 16 and 16.
Yeah, and you were an undersized. I
Right.
mean, you flip flopped with Nurk,
Mm-hmm.
and even sophomore year you were kind of undersized too, where you were at 95. So I mean, it's not like you were a young guy at a man's weight those first couple of years, and and I think you've come so far, like quite honestly. Well, how about team, Mr. Captain? What are some team goals? What are you guys talking about?
Obviously the section title, but also I think to prove ourselves wrong. We've never gotten past the section semis.
Right.
Whether it's Northfield or that one year we wrestled Mayo. It's kind of weird to be there. I'm used to being at Northfield for team sections.
Right.
But to kind of just get past that level first, to get past that section semis and kind of get over that hump, I believe that'd be one of our team goals. And like I said, a section championship, winning record big too.
Yeah.
You're wrestling 5 duels a week. That's
Right.
It's not easy. So
Yeah.
to have that winning record and maybe get over a hump of a even section semis or section finals drought, to even get there, get to the Civic Center would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, with 3 ranked teams in the top 10, and that's not even including Mayo, who's going to be tough too this year.
They're always tough, yeah.
So yeah, it's a pretty stacked section, top heavy wise, and we're proud of that. But yeah, we exercised the demons of Faribault last year.
Oh yeah, we did.
We still have Northfield to get past. We got to get over that, and then Albert Lee as well. So
Yeah, they're tough. They're always tough too. So
Right.
it's a good test. We don't want a cakewalk to state because then
Exactly.
you get to state and then you get destroyed. So you want to challenge yourself and see where you're at in the state like that.
Absolutely. Well, I got to ask you, because 'tis the season, what's on your Spotify wrap-up?
Oh, it was a lot of Metallica,
Okay.
Michael Jackson, and a rap artist called 21 Savage. You don't know if anybody watching listens to 21 Savage, but he's good
do.
stuff. You do? Okay, yeah, 21 Savage. Yeah, 21 Savage, Metallica, Michael Jackson, they were all in there. It's kind of a weird mix, but
That is all. Okay, so how about for each one of those artists, what about like a couple of favorite songs per?
ooh. See, I don't want to be the guy listing off all the hits, but they're just too good. You know,
Are you more early Metallica? They're thrash metal, or are you a little later in? Like,
definitely
the
not
90s?
later, like the 72 seasons or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
that
not that.
sucked. Or like their garage band type of stuff. That's good. Like
Right.
kind of like the Master of Puppets one, For
Okay.
Whom the Bell Tolls. That and when those songs came
So
out,
in the 80s,
Ride the
for
Lightning.
sure. Okay. Yeah, the Ride the Lightning album. Okay. How about Michael? What's
Ooh.
MJ?
Oh man, I can't think of the album name. It was the one with Billie Jean, Thriller, all those good ones. That's his best album by far. You got Billie
Thriller
Jean,
album?
Yeah.
Thriller,
Yeah.
Baby Be
Beat
Mine.
It-
That's a good
Beat
one.
It was on it.
Beat It. All the good ones. All those great ones are on there.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Nice. And then I'm not going to ask about 21 Savage because I don't know anything about.
21 Savage.
I'm sure you can't even say the lyrics names.
Savage Mode 2. Does that sound like a cool? Does that sound like a cool album to you?
Savage Mode 2.
It's one of the best albums I've ever heard. So
Okay, gotcha. It's
good stuff.
You heard it here first.
exactly, go listen.
Yeah. Well, nice. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for all you do as a leader in the room. You've always been, even as a freshman, working at tournaments and everything. Like you're great with little kids. You're, you've just kind of. I mean, you're a tall kid, so it's easy to listen to somebody who's tall. But you've like really taken that in stride and always been kind of an old soul in the room, even when you're an underclassman. So we appreciate it. That's the kind of captains we like. Are people with integrity and able to hold people accountable without just saying they're trash or something like that. So
Right.
it's great. But
Nobody wants to hear that.
no. But thank you, sir. We
you
appreciate
very
you
much.
having on. And can't wait to see you on the podium at whatever weight you choose, basically.
Will
on
do.
state.
I'll get there. Thanks for having me. Shout out
Good
Grandma,
luck.
Grandpa, Mom, and Dad.
Oh, yeah. Sean, that's nice. Awesome. Thank you.
Mike
We'll be
drop.
right back. Welcome back to the Owatonna Wrestling Weekly Podcast. We are blessed with another captain for this year, another senior captain, Isabelle Townley, Minnesota State place winner, took 5th as a freshman, 2-time state entrant, and most recently took 4th at the toughest tournament in the state. Welcome. How are we doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. For those of you who may not know Isabelle, she's the loudest person you've ever heard in your life. She's also, she just can't shut up like ever. So that's totally Isabelle. Her brother is in the background. But yeah, we love having you on, and especially as the second ever female captain for Owatonna Wrestling. First off, how has that been? How has that felt? How has that gone for you?
It's gone pretty good. There's still respect for me, even as a girl. I mean, being the only girl captain and a lot of guys compared to girls in the room. But
Yeah, and now with, what do we have, 6 total girls, going maybe on 7. Might have some late registrants here coming up. How has that been? Have you, you guys kind of consider yourself, kind of your own pod, your own mini team?
yeah, we're usually technique partners together. We kind of stay there, and we're a lot more closer together than we are with some of the guys. And
Sure, naturally. You personally, as well as Aaliyah and Kayla, have never had a problem wrestling boys, practice-wise and everything. But we recognize some girls, that's a big deal, and they want to wrestle girls only and stuff. So, I think as we go along, we're probably still going to have that type of split between girls like you who are just bring it on,
I'll
no
take
matter
on
what.
anybody.
Yeah.
I'm a battle princess.
Versus some that might be just a little self-conscious about that deal. Yeah, Battle Princess. You got it in. You got it in.
There it is.
Battle Princess. We recognize that it's good to accommodate all kinds. So I'm going to let the guy who really gets on your nerves ask all the questions from here.
So, Isabelle, how's your season going
it's gone pretty good so far.
so far? How many, I'll start us off, what tournament did you just compete in, and how was the competition there?
Saturday we went to Hopkins to the Athena tournament. It was very big tournament. It went pretty smoothly,
Yeah.
but I had some good competition,
Okay.
and I lost twice, but to the same girl.
Okay.
And I did get pinned, but in the first period I got the takedown, and I was on top the entire first period, and I was riding her pretty good.
Okay. Okay, so you took fourth. What are the girls ranked? Just, we might have hit this already a little bit, but what are the girls ranked that took first, second, and third in the state?
We're ranked first and second, and I think there was one ranked first or second at a different weight class too.
So you had the top two, top two place or rankings, but 3 girls all ranked in the top 2 in the state, and so that just shows to where you're at right now, ain't it?
Yeah.
All right. So far this season, how many boys have you wrestled against any of on the co-ed side of it?
No.
No. It's been strictly all girls so far this year?
Yeah.
Okay. What has been your most memorable, when you girls all get together or as a full team, what's your favorite part of it so far?
My favorite part is definitely probably going to the all-girls meets, and because so many other people from other towns too, but being with the team, it's nice to have it just be us, and then we're all just together.
Yeah. So last year, you wrestled freestyle around. Have you ran into any of them girls yet that you competed against during that season?
No, they all went up in weight classes.
Okay. So you haven't ran into any of them yet?
No.
Okay. All right. So I just got this from Coach Johnson. Sorry. From Coach Johnson, you have 67 wins so far in your career, and a lot of them pertain to boys. Is that a true statement? Can I say that? You've been beating up on the boys for a couple years, and now we're turning it and taking it out on the girls?
Yeah.
So what do you want to accomplish by the end of the season in your record?
I would like to hit 100.
Would you? Okay. Start getting into some boys matches, I think you might be able to. We got how many more girls matches do we have?
You guys have 7 total on the calendar of girls only events that don't count towards our limit.
Okay.
And so 1 down, so 6 more to go. So it's this weekend, Girls Classic. Then it's Champlin the following week. Then it's St. James the following week. I think even Pine Island, we might fill all 8 dates because we're on the wait list for Pine Island. So it just keeps going from there. Almost every single Saturday, the girls' team's going to a different tournament.
Well, that's good. That's
So,
good. Well, you keep that up. So, being the captain of the whole team and then also of the girls' team, how does that? I know DJ or Coach Johnson talked about that.
Push-ups? I don't know.
Talked about that. It's kind of hard when I used to coach him, to run around.
That's true.
But how's that really? Gonna, in your eyes, gonna help you in the future? You're kind of the boss. Do you take that role as being a captain, as being a friend, a mentor, helping with technique and stuff like that? Do you step into that role?
I do, yes, and I've had some of the girls come up to me and ask for advice on improving things, and I'm always open to giving little tips and tricks. And but I don't necessarily think of myself as a boss.
That was kind of just but we all know we all know where you stand on.
But I do make sure I am being a leader and I am showing the right example and not screwing around.
Yeah. Okay. So
I think that's kind of the next evolution for you. Is we've never had a problem with hustle, work ethic, any of that for you, and now it's how do you expand that into holding other girls accountable, the wrestlers around you, not just your practice partners, because you have been hyper-focused in your career. That was never a problem. So, probably the next evolution of Isabelle Townley's leadership is, you've always led by example, and now how do we positively and vocally, getting a little louder and more present with vocals, inspire your other teammates and everything, which you've already been off to a hot start, so that's great.
So that leadership, I know the last time it's been a while since I've asked you this question, but that leadership part Is that got to do with anything you are going to be doing after school? Or are you still thinking of what we talked about a year ago?
Possibly.
Okay.
Still thinking about the military, but that might be later on.
Okay.
Because I want to focus more on my career outside
Okay.
after high school.
And do you have something in mind?
Yeah, I want to do wildland firefighting.
Okay. All right. That'll be into that. That's quite a demanding job when it happens. So, and I think you'd be right up there, right, good to go with it. So,
awesome.
so as Coach Johnson always says, what's on your Spotify? What's your three top?
I wouldn't be able to guess this at all.
I got
What is it?
Most of my Spotify is country.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I guess I couldn't get a little bit. Oh,
So-
who specifically, though?
Yeah.
Who made the top?
Treaty Oak Revival.
Okay.
There's Cole Wetzel.
Yep. Know that one.
Okay.
I got him on mine.
There's some Jelly Roll in there.
Okay.
I have heard of him. I know him.
Otherwise there's Zach Bryan too, but not so much anymore.
Okay. So do you still hold your job during the season, or did you step back from working during wrestling season?
I do, but I do prioritize wrestling. So
Okay.
I go after I practice on Fridays.
Okay.
Like obviously I'm not working this Friday.
Yeah.
I have the girls classic, and then if I can make it there after Saturday tournaments, which
Yep.
some of them can't. So.
Yeah. Okay.
But they're well aware that I have wrestling, and
Yep.
they're really flexible with that. So
Okay,
it's
that's
nice.
good. Do wanna
And you
get-
touched on a hot button item that we scolded the whole team for today. The whole job. It's the craziest thing. Don't get me wrong, we have a lot of hardworking kids and everything, but it's like talking about that what are you dedicated to during the season? So
Yeah. And to hold a job, even though doing school as a high school kid, doing school, doing a sport, and doing a job, that takes a lot.
It does.
To keep the grades up, and then to still be in practice, fulfill that part, and then be able to go out and still make some money. That's doing good. And I know, I didn't get to ask Blake that, but he does that too. I've seen him leave the wrestling room with his uniform on, heading to work. So that just goes to show that they do have a work ethic all
do.
around. So
They do.
that's very good. Any plans of wrestling after the season this year?
I don't know. It's gonna be hard not wrestling anymore, but I don't know if college is in the books for
Okay.
me.
Okay.
But I can still. It's not completely out.
Okay.
What's the lightest weight class for girls college wrestling?
I'm not completely
I think
sure,
it's
but
18
Okay.
or somewhere.
bigger than me.
So I was going to say, so you got to stop listening to Jelly Roll and start
Start
eating
eating
Jelly
Jelly
Rolls.
Rolls.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Nice.
Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
My parents, definitely not that kid. My family in general, they've always been supportive.
Yeah, I think the one that you didn't want to give a shout out to supports you pretty good too.
He stinks though.
Aw, Trevor. Double T. Well, thank you so much. It's always great, and especially in a year where we went from just 2 girls in the room to 4 to now 6. It worked out perfectly to where we had a seasoned veteran like you who already, once again, has an incredible work ethic to be a captain, to be a leader, to be an example. And I think that you prove everyone every single day that you belong, and that sets the example then for the other girls where we have some newer ones, even in the high school room. And, if Isabelle can do it, if she can throw it right back at Caden Lindquist, Miles Ozzie and stuff, then they can too, type of deal. So that's great to see. And we call her the face ripper for a reason. She wrestles on that borderline of rage and aggression, and we love that for her. So thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you to the captains. Thank you to Coles Electric for their sponsorship of the Owatonna Wrestling Association, and this is a part of it. Their sponsorship goes towards the podcast advertising too. And so thank you to everything you guys do. Please refer family, friends, businesses to Coles Electric. And that's another episode of the Owatonna Wrestling Weekly podcast. We're going to have a lot to talk about next week. Holy crap. So,
A lot.
sounds good.
Good luck
see you
this
again.
season to Blake and Isabelle.
Yeah. Take care.
See ya.